I have to tell you that I am really in a place of humbleness and gratitude that I get to share this message with you right now. This is a powerful message for humanity. Whether you tune in while I'm live or you tune in later and you re-watch this in the afterplay. I literally was compelled, inspired, spirit moved through me this morning so powerfully with the message for humanity that no matter what's going on, you're already in perfect divine time. I spoke about this the other day, but just to go deeper, to let you know, God will never let us destroy ourselves. God will not destroy itself. And we are expressions of God. We are the divine. Think about this for a moment. Even when it feels like we're in the darkest of times and you feel the most hopeless, we as humanity are rebirthing. We are going through a metamorphosis. We are going through the birthing process right now. Change is painful, especially major life change. It's icky, it's messy, it's yucky. We don't want to feel it because we've been conditioned to deny and reject all that doesn't feel good. If it doesn't feel good, then we're not supposed to like it. We're not supposed to appreciate it. We're not supposed to embrace it. We reject it, but that's also rejecting a piece of ourselves. You never miss a divine opportunity. Let me say that again. You never miss any divine opportunity. You are always on your path. You are never off your path. You're exactly where you're meant to be, doing exactly what you're meant to be doing, choosing exactly what you are divinely inspired to choose. How crazy is it that we would even condemn ourselves for how we feel, what we're experiencing? The negative self-talk that takes us out of our personal power disempowers us when we play the victim and act like someone is doing something to us, when we're always choosing how to show up to it, how to respond to it, whether we give our power away or we stand strong in our power. That's God in every form. And God is in it all. God is in the details. Even if you don't like the details, it's there to show you the contrast. It's there to show you the polar opposite. Because that's where your imbalance is. That's how we find our path, our way in life, is through recognizing what is out of balance so that we can rebalance, we can reharmonize, we can find ourselves whole again. That when one thing is lacking, there's abundance coming on the forefront. When you feel you don't have what you need in this life, remember faith, patience. If you're desiring it, it's meant for you. It's up to you to trust in that. It's up to you to take the actions, the steps in the direction of whatever it is that you feel inspired by Spirit, by God, that is always moving through you. God is in you. You are God. Every one of us is an avatar, a fragment, a version of God to experience itself. That's why we live in polarities. That's why life is about relationship and how we relate to one another. Because that's how we experience ourselves, through relating. And whether you're there for the other or you're there for yourself, it's beautiful because you are evolving and growing in every moment. You are deepening that intimacy, the into me I see, the relationship to self and others. You are learning and growing and evolving through the process. It's all about the experiences we have, individual and collective. We're contributing to all of it. That when we do the healing work or the deep inquiry within ourselves, when we consciously do that, we're doing it for everyone as well. That humanity as a whole evolves through our evolution, individual and collective. That when you see the things that make you upset in the world, that's your work to do on yourself to bring out the best in the world. That without having seen what it is that upsets you, it's not to complain about it. That's what eats you up from the inside out. That's what causes cancer. It's to recognize and acknowledge that is not aligned with you and who you are. You see something you dislike in the world, you see the wrongs of what are going on, that is presented, again, divine opportunity always shows up. If you miss it in one opportunity, it represents itself in another for you. Represents, represents. It re-gifts you another time in space for you to try again. So when you think you missed an opportunity, divine time is always working. Divine time will always show up again and again to present to you the opportunity that you claim or think you may have missed in the past. Because you're always seeking to come to the same destination as every one of us is coming back to. And that is returning home to source, to the essence of love, the purity of love, which is the motivator behind all that we do. When you see what you consider a wrong in the world, unjust situations, that is your signal to do what you can do to improve. If you can't do something about that, you can do something about what's going on inside of you that upsets you about that. That is the gift in the vision and the senses, is that at any moment, instead of complaining, you can turn that into an opportunity for solutions, for healing, for growth and evolution. We're not here to sit and be stagnant and complain about what's going on around us. We're here to improve upon it. That's what humanity is about. That is what this incarnation is about, is for us to grow together, to create. And as I just said, we are going through the birthing process. We are rebirthing humanity as we speak. We are not just rebirthing humanity, we are rebirthing the earth, which we are synchronistically and symbiotically associated with. You can't have one without the other. We are joined through blood, DNA, through energy, all of it. We are what we eat, and it all comes from the earth. Whether it's chemically processed or grown with love, it doesn't matter. It's all love. It's all source. It's all part of God. It's an expression of God in form. And see, the interesting part about God is God took form in each and every one of us and every little thing to grow and level up itself too. Ooh, that's a powerful one. That message, when that dropped in, I was like, ooh, I don't know if who's going to be able to hear this and get it. That the truth of God is that even God is evolving in this moment through each and every one of us. That what's going on is so precious, is so divine and beautiful. This is spirit. This is source. This is where we're at in the world right now. That you are here at a time when you get to be a part of God evolving and growing and expanding. But it's through us that we must create the new, to stop trying to hold on to the last remaining bits of the past old stuff that wasn't working. You know why we're all uncomfortable? You know why it all feels yucky and icky? Because change is like death. And on the forefront of change is the discomfort, the messiness, is the unfamiliar, the uncontrollable, the I have no idea. So I don't have confidence in how this is going to play out. But you have to leap. You have to take a risk to see how this will unfold. But to get excited, because that discomfort that you feel is leading you to the comfort. That we are in a time when we are here to create the new. We have so much profound opportunity at our disposal right now that we can play victims of our circumstances and what all's going on around us. All that is a distraction from you doing your part to contributing to humanity's evolution and God's expansion. You couldn't get any more powerful than these times that we're living in right now, that we are about to come through in ways we could never even imagine. But it takes each and every one of us to stay the course, to focus on bettering yourself, whether you choose to serve yourself or you choose to serve others, but to own that you're choosing. Don't deny your shadow. Embrace it. Be whole. You've got weaknesses, you've got strength. Take on the strength and work with that. Work with what you know works. And be willing to try things that you have no idea. Because it takes a leap of faith and a little bit of risk to create the new. To come out on the other side. That we're all going to be okay. God's not going to destroy itself through us. It's not going to let us destroy ourselves. God is aware through each and every one of us. Because he's, whether you call it a he, a she, source, God, whatever, experiences through each one of us itself. So it's more aware than we could ever be. It's got more than the eyes that we see. And the truth is that God is in the details. And then we're going to have this powerful, what came in was this, we're going to have a powerful shift. If you consciously choose to go into the new, you will experience this. And if you choose not to, you will have a different experience. Each and every one of us has individual experiences to begin with. But God is here to evolve and to expand in a way that is going to take on a new look, a new feel, new senses. Imagine that. We currently have 5 senses that lead to our intuition. There are going to be things that come out that you couldn't even fathom. Exciting things. And you should be getting excited and stop getting caught up in the whole doom and gloom. That doom and gloom is there to distract you and to feed the fear, to feed the machine. Another brick in the wall. God is in the details. God is here for each and every one of us. We're going to be okay. We're going to be more than okay. We're going to have a powerful solar event that is going to expand the collective consciousness in such a way that those who hadn't yet woken up, haven't been awake, are going to be awakened. That all the evil that we see and sense in the world is going to be extracted. We're going to return to pure source. We're going to return to the essence of love. Because that's what drives it all. That no matter when you see the imbalances and the evil in the world, it's time for you to stand in your truth. And which side are you going to choose to be on when history, her story, is written? Whatever you choose, own it. If you have some remnants of evil and what some might call evil, I don't believe it, that the evil is just the imbalance again, because even God has to experience these negative effects, these negative encounters and situations for it to know itself. That's how we do it. Whether you are in service to yourself by giving to receive or receiving to give, or even if you're one of those malevolent types that I'm serving myself to try to master someone, to enslave someone into my ideology. That is there for you, because in the end, again, it's always going to go back to source. It's just an experience of God that God is having through us. Finding your joy, living in your best expression of you. Doing better instead of getting caught up in the past and the traumas. Healing, doing the shadow work. Seeking out those who inspire and uplift you, and doing the same for others. We need to get out of this competing, because that's what's eating us from the inside out. We've been conditioned to think it's us versus them, it's me against you. When the truth is that when you thrive, I thrive. That we celebrate each other and don't try to get one over on the other. That we're not here to take from another. There's plenty to go around. We've been trained to think that everything is limited, that there's not enough to go around. When we are only occupying 1% of the planet, even unlimited resources there, what a lie that's been told. Energy all comes from love. And it always gets transmuted and transformed back into love. Everything we're experiencing is just basically the various expressions of love. It may not feel like it sometimes, but that's how we appreciate. In order to feel the pleasure, we have to know the pain. In order to feel pain, we have to have experienced pleasure. And to know that it's going to be okay, even in those darkest of your times, that you can look in the mirror and just own it. I don't feel so good. I'm not so happy with my life right now. That I want more. I do want more. Owning what you want. Leaning in with worthiness instead of denying yourself. Because a lot of us grew up not feeling worthy, always being in that position of having to prove ourselves worthy. Trying to get people to understand us when we ourselves didn't understand ourselves. So that's where relationship comes in, is we relate to another, and that's how we learn about ourselves. When we're with somebody else, they mirror back who we are. They show us that we're seen. That's why we engage with others, why humanity is so important, that humans be in unity. Because when humans are in unity, that in itself, that is the expansion of collective consciousness. It's a collective collaboration in this life. That the more we focus on the joy and love and celebrating one another and serving one another and making sure everybody's taken care of and is okay, is healed, is happy, has a roof over their head, has running, clean, unadulterated water, has clean, yummy, nourishing food, has a roof over their head, has everything at their disposal. When each and every one of us has what we need, we're no longer in stress. We can live in joy. We can be in our happiness. That is what this life is meant to be, is us creating these utopian lives. We were born to live in joy. We were born to not to struggle. And what happened is that man got in the way. The God complex. I want to play God. Got a little taste of power and didn't want to let go. And that transformed into this extremism that we see. Extreme elites and richness versus the poorest of the poor who can barely survive, and dying of hunger is actually the #1 cause of death in the world. To withhold food from somebody is inhumane. That's crimes against humanity. God is seeing all of this and experiencing it all at the same time. I remember the first time I had this awareness that, wow, I knew that God was in each and every one of us, that we are God, and these smaller expressions of God and source. And when you can recognize that you yourself are God, and how you are contributing to the overall experience that God is having in this moment, that's powerful. To me, I sat there and went, wow. Can you imagine what it must be like to have every one of these experiences all at once? That everything is being felt on the whole collective? That's why when you look around and you see the chaos and the pain in the world, that's also a reflection of what you have been through and maybe even still be going through. That we are all contributing to what is on a mass scale going on around the world. That when we come together, we all know the power of prayer. We all know the power of intentional meditation. That when we get together and we start praying, and I encourage each and every one of you, start praying more, meditate more, sit with yourself, face your demons and embrace those demons. Your demons need your love just as much as your light. And when you deny your demons, you're denying yourself. A piece of you dies. We all have some dark sides, but if the light would not exist without the shadow, the dark has to illuminate the light, and the light needs to have its shadow too. Everything serves. And the sooner you own that, the sooner you are whole, the more we complete. We go over those levels of consciousness. We raise the vibration of this planet. And all that no longer serves dissolves. That all the injustices you've seen in the world, poof, be gone. They're gone. Because we've given so much attention to that, because we've been hijacked to stare into the screen and to believe what we see. Being told that the majority of all these horrible things is what's really going on, is the real life, is fake and false. I'm just saying. There are more beautiful things going on in the world than you could ever imagine. But when you hone in on a little screen, that all it tells you is the bad things, it gives you that sense that there's no hope. That's why you need to turn off your devices. That's why you need to get out in nature. That's why you need to get in community. That's why we need each other more than ever now. This message I've been trying to say for the past year, that humans are not meant to be in captivity. Look at animals in the zoos. How disgusting is that? It's no different. It's no different. Humans are more enslaved now than they have ever been. But it appears that we're doing it voluntarily. We have volunteered and given up our own sovereignty for the false idolship of those we think have what we want. Let me say that again. We worship and admire those who have more than we do, as if that makes them so much better than who we are. Because they have something we want, hey, you got to own this too. I want that. I want to be rich. I want to have that house. I want to have that money. I want to be able to do what they do. That's false idolship. It's not even the person that you're admiring. It's what they have. And if you can sit with that and recognize that you yourself are giving up this energy to be like somebody who you don't know what they're like behind closed doors. They may be the most evil, vile individual doing atrocities behind the scenes that you have no idea. But you're worshiping what they have as if that makes them a good person and that you should follow them. Why would anybody do that? Because you don't even know the truth. You're so blinded by your own false idolship and worship. And this is a problem in humanity, that most people will not own that side of themselves. That's the shadow work that's going on right now. If you hadn't noticed over this past year, how many of those people that you admired all your life, you took a step back and you went, wow, I had no idea about that person. Wow. Relationships and friendships and family members, there have been some huge upsets. You could say that, couldn't you, over this past year? Ending friendships over beliefs, over who you choose as a candidate, over who you choose as a political party, over whether you choose to wear a piece of fabric across your face or you get an injection, some shot. How sick are we to put those kinds of things between us? Are we really that toxic that we forgot about our fellow humans, about love, about love thy neighbor, do unto others as we would want done unto us? When you treat the other like you would treat yourself and how you would want to be treated, the golden rule is a humane rule. Now we're talking. We need to get back on board with the basics of life, with treating one another with the same respect, kindness, and love that we ourselves want. There's a lot of selfishness right now. You know, there's people who want what they want when they want it. We're all learning our own limitations, our boundaries, our fears, our desperations, our standards, what we need and what we want in this life. And we need to stay true to our heart and soul and how that serves on the whole forefront of life and the collective. What is it you want to be left behind as your legacy, as your truth? That's important. What side of history will you find yourself on? Humanity is counting on each and every one of us who is willing to do the work, to heal ourselves, to work with others, to reach out to neighbors, to come back into community, put the unity in community, put the unity back in humanity, coming together, humans with one another. That's what's going to heal the world. Seeking and creating new solutions so that the old will dissolve and dismantle, because that's what's happening right now. Right now, what you're watching is the crumbling. You're seeing the old reveal itself and obsolete itself. What do you want to see created in its place? We've learned a lot. History repeats. History has taught us. What we do know, we can improve upon. Or we can just start all over in more fruitful, loving, humane ways. Whatever you choose, it's okay. Again, it's all in divine time. And even if you miss one divine opportunity, there will be another presented. So that's my message. Live in your joy. Choose to create, expand, and evolve. Do it consciously. Set an intention. Where can you affect humanity in a way that you are serving yourself and others? It's not just the martyr game. It's not just about you serving others. You also have to take care of yourself. That's what this is about. You are just as much worthy as those you want to help. And if you think helping another takes you away from having to face your own demons, I guarantee you this: those that you try to help or to fix will come right back at you. Because yes, what we think we do for another is also for ourselves. But how conscious of it are you? You can try to distract yourself with others, but in the end, you're always going to be presented with yourself. Healing takes a lot of courage and vulnerability, and we have to come together. If we don't come together now, it's now or never. Don't you want to live a life of joy and stop all this suffering and all this arguing, all these wars that are in the wrong name? They're not in the name of anything but power, control. Man playing God, trying to keep the strong arm on us, using excuses. We all deserve better, but we must be willing to do better. Just remember, God is in the details. And just like the dark crystal, which has a message for us, if you remember the movie. Do you remember how the creatures that took over, how disgusting and vile they were? And then when energy was restored, they turned into light beings. That's what I get the image of when I think about what's coming. So please, never lose hope. No matter what you're going through, it's all going to be okay. It's all in divine time. And you're perfect just the way you are. I love you so much. Have an amazing day.